So I totally rewatched the previous introductions and I'm satisfied, and we can move on with video listening and comprehension, conversational skills. Okay, so there are always a lot of on my mind, for example, when I'm starting talking about anything in English. So this is a little advice, a little hint for you. How can you do it too? So, a lot of people, and me when I was much younger, that was 100,000 years ago, when people were asking me about like, hey, how are you, what's your name, how do you do, what do you do, what are you interested in, your hobbies, and that was the question about you and your life. The basic questions that you normally start with, getting acquainted with another people, especially foreign people. There comes some troubles because you are nervous, you are shy, you're a bit stressful because there are not so many things that you really want to share with other people, and there are not so many other things that you are able to tell. Am I right? Do you have the same troubles as I used to have 100 years ago? What normally do people ask you when you get acquainted with new people? This is the question for you, so please write down those questions and you can answer them. And you can also, this is actually a very great exercise. You can either go two ways. You can either record them in audio in your phone, or you can also record it as a video. Guys, so this is very nice, two exercises. Recording yourself, your speech, and then listening it again, and video recording yourself so you can see yourself. These are two very practical, very useful exercises to improve the level of your language, your public actually skills, anything. So please do it. So the questions that you need to answer, once again. What are the basic questions people ask you when you get acquainted with them? What do you normally tell them about yourself? What's your, let's say, introduction? And what troubles did you have, or do you normally have, when people ask you this information? So please write those questions down, write those answers down, or you can record them in any enjoyable way that you choose. I don't care. Here, use your imagination. All of them are great. All of them are very, very practical. Moving on. So what I really wanted to say. Places where you can be. The ways you can work and the ways you travel. All of them can be really combined, and the 21st century and the modern world really gives us a lot of opportunities to be more than we really are, to feel the world in the more perceptive ways than we are used to having, than our grandparents used to have, than our parents used to have, or just had. Because now it's an absolutely different situation. For example, I had an experience today of having some online Skype and WhatsApp English lessons, being on boat, being on the yacht in the middle of the sea. And I'm really grateful for the some internet connection that's still available here near the shore, and for the friends that actually shared some internet with me. And that was the connection, come on, from Turkey to Moscow, to those people who are also moving somewhere. For example, my student was driving at the time. Isn't it nice? So what do you think of modern ways of communication using the internet? What are the advantages and disadvantages living in a modern world? So you can make a list of the things that, for example, let's discuss this construction used to. Something that exists in the past but doesn't exist anymore in the present, like you don't have it now. For example, I used to have longer hair some time ago, but now I don't. Or there didn't used to be any internet 20 years ago, which is true, and our life was absolutely different. So you can write 2 columns of the things that you used to have in the past, now you don't have it, or the things you didn't used to have in the past, now you have it. So it's vice versa all the time. And you can write the advantages, that's another task. Advantages and disadvantages means like positive and negative things of living in the modern world, 21st century. What you like about it, what you don't like about it, what you hate, and what you really adore. So I'm sure you wrote it down and you'll be ready with this task, and you'll send all of them to me, to my email, and I'll be waiting for them in the mailbox. Meanwhile, what else can we say? Probably the protection of your skin is one of the issues these days, because you can obviously see it on the red nose that I'm having right now, and all the red face actually. Other questions are: is it really wrong to have a suntan? Why do we have different types of skin for people living in different parts of the world? And do people need to protect their skin from the sunlight? What kind of protection do you use? Because obviously I'm really bad at that, because even though I'm still using it, you can see this red sunburned face. So I have some post sunscreen for hydration and nutrition of the skin. Actually, it's really difficult to survive without that kind of cream. What kind of methods do you normally use when you go to the seaside? So if you didn't get those questions, you need to repeat them there on the video. Okay, I'll give you some time with that while I'm thinking about some more questions.